Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this particular video, I'd like to talk about the current issue in Ukraine pertaining to discrimination against Africans and Muslims. I posted a video yesterday that shows evidence that in Ukraine, um, that there's some discrimination against Africans who are fleeing from the country, who are there. A lot of them are there as students in international university, including Muslims who are students in the international universities. And there's a clip of Africans being pulled off the train to allow white Ukrainians to get on the train. And there's videos at the border between Ukraine and Poland where the Indian Muslims are being shot at by, it seems to be like Polish police or immigration officers. And I really like to say when I see these things, it kind of hurt me a lot, but it's a wake up call for Africans and Muslims where white supremacy is alive. Um, and anybody know about the history of World War II, former Soviet Union, Hitler, or in general, that white supremacy is not restricted to just in America or our American system, but white supremacy is a system of a way of life for Europeans. And this is very well known from the colonialization of Europeans over Africa in the Middle East, that these ideas should be understood, or these concepts should be understood by non-Europeans. But unfortunately, today, it's not a concept that many Africans or Muslims don't really realize. Rather yet, they look up to the European society, and this is some of the reasons why you could find them in Ukraine, and the international university in Ukraine. Um, Still, the Muslims are there, Africans are there, and they thinking that because we are in 2022 that white supremacy is doesn't exist. It's something that is real, and these incidents are showing the cases that it's real. I posted the video yesterday. Even you could see from news reporter in the media where many news reporter from Ukraine and the U.S. who are saying that the issue of refugees fleeing from Ukraine, why they are welcome in Poland is because they are white, they are European, and it's not the same issue. This is what they're saying. This is not the same issue as refugees coming from Syria. And you find many news reporters saying, "Well, we're not uncivilized. What's going on in Ukraine? We're not uncivilized like refugees who are fleeing from undeveloped countries and third world countries that are not civil countries. We're not these type of peoples." So it shows you how the whites and Ukrainians in America, how they view Muslims, Arabs, and Africans. And unfortunately, Muslims still do not learn. Unfortunately, Africans still do not learn. They still are worshiping these Eurocentric systems and Eurocentric education and Eurocentric lifestyle. Well, they're even in this incident in Ukraine, where they're the ones who being invaded by the Russians. They are still discriminating against the non-whites. All right, they're still discriminating against the non-whites, even though they're in a predicament or they're in a position where they're being fought by other white peoples, other Europeans, other white peoples. Russians are other white peoples, and they turn around and say, well, we're not uncivilized like the Arabs. Look how even during this transgression or this chaos they're going through, they're still promoting white supremacy. They say, oh, well, our issue is not like those Arabs who are from uncivilized countries. Turn around and asking Africans who are trying to leave the place, leave the country, to, oh, get off the train. And this is really sad for me to see these things, but the reality is that white people don't change. White supremacy is real. And Ukraine should be a good example for Africans and Muslims, where you see that in the height of a situation, when it comes to life and death, you are not put first. Rather yet, they tell you to get off the train or get off the bus, or you can't cross the border because you're not white, you're not European. And we're still going to have many of the Muslims and Africans who are still going to, um, you know, worship this Eurocentric way of thinking. And from the media post or the media, American media, who are highlighting these things about Ukraine, but not talking about the race issues. For the American media, it shows the double standard and the hypocrisy, where they in America, the Democratic Party, will talk about how the conservatives or the white wings are racist and their double standards. But when it comes to Ukraine, mistreatment of Africans and the Muslims, they won't talk about it, except for in the news. They brush it off, and they won't call out the double standards, and they won't report on these incidents that are taking place. Rather yet, they're saying that, well, Ukrainians are white Europeans, and this is why they can easily cross the border into Poland. They are white Europeans. The civil chaos or the war in Ukraine, or we're not like the Arab peoples who are uncivilized from third world countries. This is what they're saying out their mouth, and American media is even promoting this on their news channel. Well, why America will promote these things on American news channel? In reality, American government is just from the European diaspora. American government are just their European diaspora and supporting their white brothers and sisters wherever in Europe, or you will find them. They're going to support them and won't give the news coverage on the mistreatment of non-Ukrainians or non-whites in Ukraine who are black. I mean, Ukrainians who are being mistreated and who happen to be black or Muslim. So this is something that, some of us, we need to take some heed. The next thing we need to take some heed about, we need to think about it is, for black peoples and Muslims, don't think that because you guys live in these countries, in these Russian countries, that democracy is for you. When war comes, when chaos comes, when natural disasters come, they're going to put their peoples first, their white peoples first. And sometimes you're going to have a system, if you're black or a Muslim, that you're going to have a system set up that, hey, man, I got to learn how to get out of the Dodge before everything falls apart. Because when everything falls apart, because I'm not European and not white, I'm going to get mistreated. There's something that we need to start thinking about. Unfortunately, and because another message for Muslims who live in the U.S. and black people in the U.S. don't think because if something happened in America that because you're American that you're going to get a better type of standard or a better type of treatment. No, when things come to pass, if something was to happen in the U.S., if Russia was to send a nuclear bomb to the U.S., do you think you as a black people, you're the first one they're going to think about in the U.S. government? You're the least person they're thinking about. And all you need to do is just look at American legal system. Look at American police system, how they mistreat blacks. And black people are not a threat to this white society, meaning that we don't have arms, you're not fighting them. If you think a natural disaster will come, you think that, or some type of chaos come, that you're going to be the first one they're going to think about preserving. No, it's going to be every man for self. And you need to start thinking about that as blacks, especially as Muslims. Because I find a lot of the Muslims, they depend a lot on Eurocentric education, Eurocentric everything, they depend on it. In reality, Eurocentric way of life and system is not made to put you first because you're not European. Something for us to think about.